Welcome. Today I want to tell you a simple story. It is not about kings. It is not about wars. It is not about power. It is about a small moment, a quiet accident, and a drink you already know. Coffee. Most people drink coffee every day, in the morning, before work, during breaks, in silence or in conversation. But very few people stop and ask one question. How did this begin? Not the brand, not the machine, not the cafe, the beginning. Long ago, before coffee shops, before cities full of noise, before busy mornings, there was a land with mountains, open skies, and slow days. In this place, people lived close to nature. They watched animals. They followed seasons. They listened carefully. One day, something strange happened. A shepherd noticed his goats acting differently. They were awake late at night. They moved with energy. They did not sleep. At first, he thought something was wrong. It is not about wars. It is not about power. It is about a small moment, a quiet accident, and a drink you already know, coffee. Most people drink coffee every day. In the morning, before work, during breaks, in silence or in conversation. But very few people stop and ask one question. How did this begin? Not the brand, not the machine, not the cafe, the beginning. New things often feel that way, but curiosity grows. People shared the berries. They talked. They experimented. They crushed the beans. They mixed them with water. They tasted. The drink was bitter, strong, different. It did not feel like joy. It felt like focus. It did not relax the body. It woke the mind. Slowly, coffee found a place, not in palaces, not in celebrations, but in long nights, in work, in prayer, in thought. People noticed something important. When they drank coffee, they stayed awake. When they stayed awake, they thought more. When they thought more, they spoke more clearly. Coffee did not change who they were. It changed how long they could stay with a thought. Hours became deeper. Conversations became longer. Silence became sharper. This is where the story truly begins. Not with taste, not with habit, but with attention. Coffee taught people how to stay present. In a world that moved slowly, coffee added time. More time to think, more time to create, more time to notice. No one planned this. No one designed it. It was an accident. But accidents can shape history. At first, coffee stayed small. It moved from village to village, from hand to hand. It traveled with people. Where people went, coffee followed. It crossed deserts. It crossed seas, always quietly, always patiently. It did not announce itself. It waited. And as it waited, it changed the rhythm of human life. Mornings became different. Work became longer. Thought became sharper. Coffee did not ask to be important. It simply was. And that is why its story matters. Because some of the biggest changes come without noise. They arrive slowly. They stay quietly. And one day, you cannot imagine life without them. As coffee traveled, it did not rush. It moved slowly, carried by people, shared through experience. In each new place, people reacted differently. Some welcomed it, some questioned it, some feared it. That was natural. Coffee was not sweet. It was not gentle. It asked something from the drinker. Attention. In the early days, coffee became popular among thinkers. People who worked late, people who studied long hours, people who needed focus. In quiet rooms, lamps burned late into the night. Beside books, beside paper, there was a cup. Coffee did not speak. It did not guide. It simply stayed. And that was enough. Soon, people began to notice a pattern. When coffee entered a place, conversation followed. People gathered. They sat, they talked, not quickly, not loudly, but deeply. Ideas needed time. Coffee gave time. In many towns, small coffee houses appeared. They were not fancy, simple tables, wooden chairs, warm cups. But something important happened there. People listened. They shared thoughts, stories, questions. Coffee houses became places of exchange, not of money, but of ideas. Writers met readers, students met teachers, strangers met strangers, and they talked. Without hurry, without distraction. Coffee helped them stay present. It helped silence last longer. In these spaces, thinking became social, not private, not hidden, shared. This changed how people learned. Knowledge no longer stayed in books alone. It moved into voices, into conversation. Coffee houses became places where ideas traveled faster than people. But with all this change, there was also resistance. Some leaders did not like coffee. They felt it encouraged too much thinking, too much talking, too much questioning. Coffee kept people awake. Awake people ask questions. Questions make power uncomfortable. In some places, coffee was banned. Shops were closed. People were warned. But coffee always returned. Because once people tasted focus, they did not want to lose it. Once they experienced clear thinking, they wanted more. Coffee did not force itself. It waited, and waiting became its strength. Over time, coffee stopped being strange. It became familiar. Morning began to include it. Work days adjusted around it. People began to expect clarity, not excitement, not pleasure, clarity. Coffee became a quiet partner. It did not change emotions. It sharpened them. It did not create ideas. It gave space for ideas to appear, and slowly, a habit formed. Not an addiction of taste, but a habit of attention. People reached for coffee when they needed to stay. Stay with work, stay with thought, stay with effort. Coffee became a signal that the mind was about to begin. In this way, coffee entered daily life, not as luxury, not as celebration, but as routine. And routines shape lives. Without drama, without announcement, coffee did not ask for respect. It earned it by staying useful, and its quiet influence continued. As coffee settled into daily routine, its effect moved deeper. It no longer felt new, it felt necessary. People began to notice how coffee changed the mind. Not in loud ways, not suddenly, but slowly, quietly. With coffee, thought stayed longer. A problem did not feel heavy. It felt possible. A page did not feel empty. It felt open. People learned to sit with difficulty. They did not escape it. They stayed. Coffee did not give answers. It gave patience. This patience shaped creativity. Writers filled pages. Artists refined ideas. Thinkers stayed with questions. Coffee became part of the creative process, not the source of ideas, but the space around them. In silence, coffee felt strongest. Early mornings, late nights, moments when the world slept, a cup on the table, steam rising slowly. In those moments, people met themselves. Coffee did not distract, it focused. It helped people hear their own thoughts. This changed how people worked. Work became longer, but also deeper. Less rushed, more intentional. People stopped working only to finish. They worked to understand. Coffee taught them to slow down while staying awake, a rare balance. As cities grew, this habit spread. Office desks, libraries, studios, everywhere coffee waited. It did not interrupt, it supported. Over time, coffee became linked with discipline, not forceful discipline, quiet discipline, the kind that returns every morning, the kind that sits down again after failure. Coffee did not motivate with emotion, it motivated with consistency, a small ritual, cup, sip, focus, day after day. Rituals matter. They tell the mind it is time to begin. Coffee became that signal, not excitement, not pleasure, readiness. But this closeness also brought questions. Was coffee controlling people? Or were people using coffee? Some worried about dependence, some worried about rest. These questions were real, but coffee never claimed to be perfect. It simply stayed available. People learned balance. Some drank one cup, some drank more, some stopped, some returned. Coffee allowed choice, and choice is power. As years passed, coffee became part of identity. I am a morning coffee person. I think better with coffee. It entered language, culture, stories. Yet it remained simple. Beans, water, heat, nothing more. And still, it shaped lives. Coffee never tried to lead. It walked beside. And in that quiet partnership, people learned something important. Great change does not always come from loud ideas. Sometimes, it comes from small habits done every day. As time moved forward, coffee became part of the wider world. It left quiet rooms and entered busy streets. Cafes appeared in cities, not just as places to drink, but places to pause. People came in alone. They sat together. Some spoke softly. Some said nothing. Coffee allowed both. In cafes, time felt different. Clocks still moved, but people did not rush. They sat longer. They listened more. Coffee did not demand speed. It supported patience. These places became neutral ground, not home, not work, something in between. Ideas crossed paths there, different backgrounds, different beliefs, all sitting with the same cup. Coffee did not erase differences, it made space for them. In these shared spaces, society slowly shifted. People learned to disagree calmly. They learned to wait for thoughts to finish. They learned that silence could be part of conversation. Coffee helped slow the world without stopping it. As trade expanded, coffee traveled faster. Ships carried beans across oceans. Ports welcomed new smells. New routines formed. Morning coffee, afternoon coffee, evening coffee. Each culture adapted it differently. Some added milk, some added spice, some kept it simple. Coffee changed shape, but not purpose. Focus remained. Attention remained. As industry grew, coffee became a companion to labor. Factories, offices, long hours needed clarity. Coffee offered steady energy, not excitement, endurance. It did not push people forward. It helped them continue. During difficult times, coffee became comfort, not luxury, not escape, but familiarity. A small, normal moment in uncertain days. People held cups when words were hard to find. Coffee became quiet support. It did not solve problems. It stayed with people while they faced them. As generations passed, coffee became tradition. Parents passed habits to children, not the drink itself, but the moment. Sit, pause, begin. Coffee marked transitions, from sleep to wake, from rest to work, from thought to action. It became a bridge, not dramatic, not celebrated, simply reliable. And reliability builds trust. Coffee never promised more. It gave exactly what it offered: time, focus, presence. And people learned to respect that honesty. Today, coffee is everywhere. In homes, in offices, on streets, in quiet corners. It no longer feels special, and yet it still is. People wake up and reach for coffee without thinking, not because they must, but because they trust it. Coffee has become invisible, and invisible things often shape life the most. It does not demand attention. It waits. In the background, coffee supports moments. a morning before work, a pause between meetings, a quiet hour alone.
Coffee does not rush these moments. It protects them. In a fast world, coffee gives permission to slow down while staying awake. That balance is rare. Many things promise energy. Few offer presence. Coffee never changed its role. It never tried to become something else. It stayed simple. Beans, water, heat. What changed was the world around it. As life became louder, coffee remained calm. As days became crowded, coffee stayed patient. As attention became scattered, coffee asked for focus. This is its quiet majesty. Not power over people, but partnership with them. Coffee does not lead. It walks beside. It does not push. It supports. Through centuries, coffee adapted, but it never lost its purpose. To help people stay. Stay with thought. Stay with work. Stay with effort. In that staying, people built ideas, art, communities. Coffee was there, not visible, not celebrated, but present. And presence matters.
This is why coffee's story is not about taste. It is about time. Time to think. Time to notice. Time to begin again. Coffee never promised greatness. It offered consistency, and consistency builds quiet strength. That is the accidental majesty of coffee. Not planned, not designed, simply discovered, and slowly woven into human life.